Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking Transformers and we're talking Bumblebee the Movie, the special features. Now we've mentioned the special features before on the channel when the notes were released for the Blu-ray and digital copy, but now the digital release has been let loose in the US and on April 2nd the Blu-ray will follow. So the special features are out there and it has revealed some very interesting things. Now before we get into it, I want to make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on so you stay up to date with all my Transformers content. So previously on the channel we discussed this Transformer which was featured in the deleted scenes but didn't feature in the final cut of the movie, and this got us asking the question, would Megatron appear in a deleted scene in the Hoover Dam? Well, I'm gonna say right now, if you don't want any spoilers before you pick up the Blu-ray or the digital copy, I suggest you click away now because we will be talking spoilers, so you have been warned. But if you're happy to continue, then stay right here because I can confirm that we don't see Megatron in the deleted scenes of Bumblebee the Movie. However, from what I've seen of the deleted scenes, I get the feeling that this movie had a ton of changes to stop it from being a prequel and turning it into a reboot, which ultimately made the movie a very different kind of Transformers film. Because I have to say, from the deleted scenes that I saw, I feel like it had Bay's fingerprints all over it, or it was giving the indication that they wanted the same type of humour from the other Transformers films. But when I actually saw Bumblebee in the cinema, I never got that feeling. And the deleted scenes, in my opinion, I'm glad that a lot of those deleted scenes never made the final cut of the movie, including the one with these Transformers that you're seeing here that appear when Bumblebee trashes Charlie Watson's house. So that's one thing I want to get off my chest and make clear. But back to Megatron. Now Megatron didn't feature in the deleted scenes of the digital release, but that's not to say that he doesn't have an involvement, because there is a section called Sector 7, and the first part of that section is Agent Burns' Welcome to Sector 7. And when you access this, you see John Cena as Agent Burns in some sort of vault recording a message to you, the audience, and he says the final line, and this is very interesting, he says, "Are you ready to see NBE1?" And we all know that that is the term that Sector 7 used for Megatron in the 2007 Transformers film with Agent Simmons, and now Agent Burns is referring to him. So at that point in time, the indication is that John Cena as Agent Burns is aware of NBE1. Now I talked about the deleted scenes a little bit, and we're just going to quickly jump back to the deleted scenes because one of those deleted scenes is an entirely different opening to Transformers Bumblebee the Movie, and that opening scene gives you much more of a feel that they actually do know about the Transformers and they are hunting. So it feels very different to what we had in the final cut of the movie. So once again, it feels like the movie has been manipulated and changed very much to move away from this prequel concept and transition it over to a reboot, because this scene that you see in the Sector 7 section of the digital release refers to NBE1. Then there's a deleted scene with an alternate start of the movie with Bumblebee being hunted by Sector 7, And it just feels like they are fully aware of the Transformers. So that's my interpretation of the deleted scene that you will get to see when you do pick up the digital or Blu-ray release. And all of this again makes it perfectly clear that this was set up to be a prequel movie because the references are there. They were all taken out. And to jump back, because we're jumping back and forward just a little bit, but to jump back to that Sector 7 section of the digital release, inside that as well, which follows on from that message from John Cena, is a Sector 7 adventure, and it's called The Battle of Half Dome, and it's an all new motion comic. And this builds upon the events of Bumblebee, and it continues on. And we see Agent Simmons interacting with Transformers such as Soundwave, which means Soundwave has come down to Earth. Bumblebee is in the fight. There's more Autobots too. And then the final shot of this adventure for Sector 7, the Battle of Half Dome, is none other than this. The big reveal. Megatron frozen, and they're calling him in this the Iceman. So the Iceman is revealed, and it is indeed Megatron in the Hoover Dam, and that is as close as you are going to get to seeing Megatron in any type of form in Bumblebee the movie, unless we get some concept art from a concept artist who actually worked on Megatron, because this is it. So some of you might be disappointed that you don't have a CG version of Megatron to look at. Looking at this, it does look very much like the version of Megatron that we got in the 2007 Transformers film. The head sculpt is slightly different, but that could just be by comic book design as opposed to live action design. But you can tell that's Megatron, and you can piece together the fact that that looks like the 2007 version. So I want to get your views and opinions on this in the comment section below. I did think to myself that there would be quite a lot of deleted scenes and quite a lot of things that would tie this movie back to the prequel as opposed to a reboot, and I was right. It does do that. Something else that was quite interesting about the deleted scenes is the fact that much of the CG that you see in those deleted scenes is half finished. It's not polished or anything like that. You see Shatter and Dropkick in forms that quite frankly would not have made the cinema. They needed plenty of work to get to the stage that we saw in the final cut of the movie, but you get the gist of what they were looking like and how the process takes place of shooting a Transformers film and the CG being inserted. So the deleted scenes, we probably will talk about it a bit more in future videos on the channel, but I really wanted to talk about the fact that Megatron is featured, but not in the way that many of us would have wanted. I think we now get confirmation that a lot of this stuff came from the prequel version, which was then adjusted for the reboot. But we didn't get to see that Travis Knight scene where he said that he had actually factored in Megatron on Cybertron. We didn't get to see that. We don't get to see a CG version of Megatron looking different, you know, to cater for what Travis Knight's vision was as opposed to Bay's. We don't get to see that, so there is no G1 looking Megatron at all in any part of the digital and what I'd presume is the Blu-ray released. I don't think that's going to be any different at all, but you do get the indications that initially it was set up to all move towards that 2007 Transformers film, which means that's why Megatron didn't make Bumblebee the movie in the 1980s, because he had indeed crash landed in the ice and then was picked up by Sector 7 and taken to the Hoover Dam. So there you go. My views of the deleted scenes, I do want to talk about them probably a bit more on the channel. If there's any topics that you want me to cover of the deleted scenes, let me know in the comments section below. But my actual viewpoint of the deleted scenes was, I was a bit disappointed that there wasn't enough deleted Transformers scenes. I feel like surely we must have had some more hidden gem CG moments that were taken out, some money shots if you will, that didn't quite make the movie because they were maybe too much, because Travis Knight was quite keen to make clear that he didn't want to go overboard with things, didn't want the mayhem, but doesn't feel like there's a lot of that in there. Most of the deleted scenes evolve around Charlie Watson's character, the family of the Watsons, and then there is some Bumblebee focus, but not much. But there is one very cool aspect of the Transformers on Cybertron, but we'll talk about that in another video. So for now, I want to get your views and opinions on this in the comment section below. What do you think about this? I think it's quite interesting news, the fact that yes, this was all related to the prequel, and yes, there is references to Megatron. It was known. And what do you think about the fact that we actually had an alternate start to the movie, which I interpreted as the fact that Agent Burns and Sector 7 was aware of Transformers, and that means they know about Megatron, and that's why they were up for the hunt of Bumblebee, something we didn't get in the final cut of the movie because it came as a surprise when Bumblebee crashed down to Earth. So get involved, let me know what you think, what you've seen in this video, and if you've seen the deleted scenes and you know the special features of Bumblebee the movie, then I want to hear from you too. But for now, all that's left to be said is please rate, comment and subscribe. And I do want to ask you guys just before I head off, what do you actually think of the deleted scenes if you have seen them? Do you think it was good that they were removed? My honest opinion is that yes, I am. I felt it was too quirky, too Bay-like. The deleted scenes for me, they weren't that funny, even though they were trying to be, and it felt a bit forced at times. So I'm so much more happy with what we got with the final cut of the movie, where it felt like less is more. So fair play to Travis Knight and Paramount Pictures, whoever put their foot down and said, look, we prefer this more simple approach, we don't want too much. And particularly when you get to see this deleted scene with these other Transformers that are generated when Bumblebee puts his finger in the plug socket and it generates energon, you'll get a true gist of a feeling of a film that it could have been if everything was in, and quite possibly if there was some mayhem in there. And then you have to decide for yourself whether you would have liked it or not. That scene for me really does give you a gist of an entirely different and much more, actually not entirely different, but very much the same old Transformers film, and that's not what we got with Bumblebee in the final cut. So all that's left to be said is get involved, and please rate, comment and subscribe. This is Delzinski signing out.